Welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. My name is Chris, bringing it to you here from Westlake Village, California, and it is beautiful out. I think we're going to get another beautiful sunny day. It's January, it's Friday. Happy Friday. Hopefully everybody is letting the dust settle from the holidays and, well, the Fed's nuke from yesterday. This morning we're going to discuss a couple of things: Bitcoin's price action, the underlying market dynamics, and Bitcoin's longer term and shorter term projections. We're going to talk about Ethereum, MATIC, Luna, Sand, and Mana. We'll cover the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the dollar. And first thing is first, we're going to go ahead and jump in and take a look at Bitcoin underlying market dynamics. And what's the most important thing I want to bring to your attention is the global open interest, which is currently sitting here at about 17 billion, using a new data feed for this. So coming in at 17 billion. And then we've got, so it's at near all-time highs. All-time high on this chart is around 24 billion. So we're still in the all-time high zone for open interest. The global leverage ratio, which is spot positions versus leverage positions, is currently at 0.22%, and that is at an all-time high, which is interesting because there's more leverage than we've ever seen in this market, and that means there is a big move coming. Additionally, you've got the fear and greed index coming in at an 18, so we're in the extremely fearful zone. We've been saying over the past few months, hey, look, we want to see the extremely fearful zone for a few weeks, if not a few months, before we put in a macro low. And that's very similar to what we saw back in the summer here, when everybody was extremely fearful, when Bitcoin was hanging on by its threads at $30,000. So yes, we are probably closer to a low than not, but until that correlates with the underlying market dynamics, which is going to be a leverage washout. We want to see the leverage come down to about 0.15% or 0.1%. And then we want to see open interest get, shave off at least 5 to 10 billion. And that would probably do it for me. But the most important thing is going to be price action, which is what we're going to talk about right now, because you want to look at the underlying market dynamics in line with the price action to get a conclusive, okay, are we at a macro top, or are we at a macro bottom, a short term or a medium term time frame, depending upon what your trading strategy is. So most importantly though, price action. And there's going to be no talk about a low being put in until all of those pieces of the puzzle are put in place. And we'll be covering that over the next few weeks, days. But I do want to bring our attention to Bitcoin versus US dollar on the spot price. And we've been talking about this over, past few weeks and saying, look, this huge wick is likely to get filled. Price action likely to come down around 40,000, and we got that move. I thought it was happening a little bit sooner. Looks like we got the move a little bit later than expected, right? So we're getting a bounce initially right here off this level, and what I think it's important to take a look at in these situations is our higher term time frames. And what you'll notice here, this is on a 2-week or a bi-week time frame. It's one of our most powerful time frames. And could you call this a head and shoulders? Yes. And where would the neckline be? Coming in here at about 41,000. And so how would you confirm this as a head and shoulders formation, which would give you a measure move down to about 31,000? The way you'd go ahead and confirm that is with any kind of a weekly closure below 41,000, which is coming in right about here, right? So we're hanging on by a thread, and that would be our first lower low on a weekly time frame. And then I'd expect a bounce and some kind of a lower high to be put in, and then targets to get filled around 32,000. Do I think that's what's happening right now? No, I don't. But I'd like to be prepared for what's on the other side of the trade, especially, you know, when you have a powerful time frame, a powerful setup, just like this we've been talking about over the last few weeks on the CMEs, this giant ascending triangle, which we are at the point of what I would call the maximum opportunity for profit potential. So right now, in my opinion, this is one of your maximum points of financial opportunity. Why do I say that? Again, because I very quickly will know that I should get out of the trade if I get any kind of a weekly closure, which is coming up here in about 6 hours on CMEs, and we definitely want to see this thing's bounce back above the green 55 today, and make a slightly higher low, right? And that would be the first indicator of a big bounce to come. But so how would you even confirm that as a higher low? What you'd want to see is the following week, you'd have to have a weekly closure above the last closing low, and that would go ahead and confirm that as a local low, and that would confirm several drives of hidden bullish divergence, and I would imagine a massive move back to the top side of the range. So again, you know, I'll make a rather bold statement right now, and I repeat, you know, I don't think we are going to have any daily closures below this low here coming in at 37,000. So, and this is just an idea based on past prior statistics. And it's not always guaranteed to work out, but I'd say there's a very, very high hit rate. And why do I say that? Well, this is the hash ribbons indicator. I'm going to pull this up really quick. And it's this indicator right here at the bottom, and it measures the hash rate. And the way this indicator is used, it says that anytime you get a blue buy signal, never in Bitcoin's history will the price close back below the last daily higher low, which is going to come in right here at, this is on CMEs. On CMEs, that's at 37,770. On spot price action, that is going to be at 37,700 as well. So let's revisit this and just take a look really quick at why this indicator is so valuable in giving us a buy signal. I apologize, I'm just trying to make the screen a little bit fatter so you can see, but never in Bitcoin's history, except for one iteration, have we gotten a blue buy signal and then Bitcoin broke the last prior daily low. So this last blue buy signal coming in right here, you can see, let's see if I can pull it up here. So this blue buy signal was coming in right here at 9,300, and that led to quite a nice run. And as you can see, it never came back and broke the last daily higher low. Let's see if this will help. Nope. Nope. But anyways, we did come back down to this level. We never broke the last daily higher low, and then we rallied all the way up to, I mean, I wish I could put it on log scale. I got to get rid of some of these other indicators so it's a little bit easier to see on this chart. But I do like this, the accumulation distribution indicator. I do like this. It's called the MACD. All very useful indicators. But for this purpose of this activity, I want to talk about the hash ribbons indicator, which again went off the blue buy signal. So that would have took you up to $20,000. This blue buy signal took you from $9,000 to $20,000. This blue buy, and I'm really just getting irritated why I can't make the screen a little bit bigger. Why? Is it not letting me do it? I got to put it on log scale. Okay, so we're going to hit all these blue buy signals, but bottom line is they've all produced these massive rallies. There's only one time that it didn't work, and this was the time. It was coronavirus dump time. And what happened was not there. When was coronavirus? Does anybody remember? March, right? Yeah, so this was it. We had the blue buy signal. Bitcoin rallies up, from 7,000 to 10,000. Then coronavirus dump, and we broke the last daily higher low. That's the only one time ever in Bitcoin's history where this indicator has not worked. So out of, I think, 18 iterations, one failure, that's a pretty high hit rate. So like I said, your maximum opportunity for profit is buying the low side of the range. And that's usually when people are the most fearful. Now, do I think we can get a little swipe lower? Yes, but we'll go over that in just a second. So what else I want to bring up here? Again, sticking to my guns, point of failure. And, if that point of failure is reached, I am happy to get on the other side of this trade. So 5-day as well, I wanted to point out on the weekly time frame. I'm going to bring up my primary indicator here. On the 5-day here, what you'll see is, and this pertains to the macro direction, and wanted to bring up the 5-day Stokes, which 5-day Stokes are down, and you've got volatility beginning to increase. And do we have a downtrend yet? No. So hanging on by its teeth, we need to close this 5-day in 3 days and 9 hours above, call it 41,000. Again, that critical area, and that will produce, on the 5-day. Yeah. So again, as long as we're making higher highs and higher lows on the higher term time frames, right? 5-day, weekly, bi-weekly, then technically speaking, we are still macro bullish. However, we are on the precipice of destroying that. Yes, we are. It is very, very close. And what would destroy that, what would make me look for continuation on the macro scale to the downside, again, would be a weekly closure below 41,000, or call it 40,500. And if that does happen on the CME chart here, you'll notice a gap in price action. Gaps like to get filled, and there is a nice gap right there. There is a nice gap right there. So, even if Bitcoin did want to come down to 30 or 25,000, do I think it's game over forever? Absolutely not. I'm a long-term bull, but a, person who likes to keep a very close eye on the market. So, that's what would destroy the macro view for me in the short term. And so all trends up to a 5-day are in a downtrend. And I do want to give one last bit of hopium on that my friend pointed out to me on the weekly here. And that would be the weekly RSI. I think it's more on spot price action here. So weekly RSI is going to give us our first drive of hidden bullish divergence. And basically, what does that do? What does that tell us? That means we probably get a bounce here. And then one more new low, another drive of hidden bullish divergence. So at least 2 drives of hidden bullish divergence on the weekly to get a, significant move. So, and that correlates on the daily. You'd want to see at least 3 drives of hidden bullish divergence. And let's see if we have that. No, we do not. Yeah, so that's not present yet either. So what would get me immediately bullish back on Bitcoin here? And that would just be a daily closure back above, I would call it 48,000 right here. A daily closure back above 48,500, and I'd get immediately bullish, back on, party back on, heading to the shallow 50,000s. So again, we did fill the wick, and we've been talking about that for a few weeks. We're getting a little bit of a bounce, and we did get a little bounce here. So what I would say, looking at this on a weekly, if NASDAQ wants to swipe lower, which we have been following this, saying, hey, look, this looks like a pretty good top being put in. Looks like 3-day just got its close to getting its first lower low. And yeah, I'm imagining NASDAQ comes down here around 15.1 at some point. And if that happens, I would say that'd be in line with Bitcoin getting another swipe lower. Do I think it's mission over or mission failed at this point? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Again, this is maximum opportunity time. When you have volatility, that's where the opportunity lies. And so, again, we have all the pieces in place for a macro low. We know what to be looking for, right? All we need to identify is a trend reversal, momentum, and then look for volatility to expand. And so, again, how would we kind of identify that on the chart? We've got our different indicators, which we just set up a free tutorial. You can set this up on your own for free, but you've got the trend identification. So on the daily, we can see we're in a downtrend clearly, right? We made our first actually lower low here and then a lower high, and that was, downtrend. Some would say this is not really a low until you hit this low right here and then put in, even that doesn't even look like a lower high. So again, but we are in a downtrend. This would definitely be your first lower low, lower high, and downtrend on. That's the trend. Then you want to look at momentum. Momentum, this is the momentum indicator, the stochastics, and momentum is down in the critical zone. And that's not a good thing typically, but this is the bouncy area. And what I would say is with any kind of a closure back, I believe it's above 44,500, and you're going to see these things cross back up, momentum turn back to the upside. So we should be following that over the next few days. And then you got the BBWP, our volatility indicator, and volatility expands in the direction of the trend. So, or price expands in the direction, let's see. As volatility is expanding here, you should see price go in that direction of the trend. So hopefully that makes sense. And that's what we're getting right now. So I think, that could be in line with a swipe around 38,000. And that lines up exactly on the 3-day. In fact, if we can get any kind of a 3-day closure here or lower, I do think 38,000 will get a swipe down there. As we do have, well, you see momentum is turned down, but volatility is, this is volatility decreasing, losing the exponential means consolidation. So, could this take some time? Yeah. Doesn't have to happen in one day. It's a 3-day chart, or 1 minute. All right. So I think that's going to kind of round out my thoughts for Bitcoin at the moment. We should be in for a pretty nice move. We've got all the pieces to be looking at. Now it's just a matter of waiting. Now, do want to take a look at Ethereum here. Ethereum versus the US dollar. And what do we have here? So Ethereum, fun. And I'll start off on the daily. And basically, this was our breakdown region, right? Right here, this major breakdown area. And that, all right, so we broke that, and that initiated targets down south to about 3,400, we said. And yesterday we talked about a swipe lower around 3,200, I believe. Let's see. So what do we have on the 4-hour? Okay, we've got volatility at 100%, and that's an indicator that, usually the move is beginning to be over, right? Additionally, you're going to have some bullish divergence on the 4-hour. Not much, but what is that? That means RSI is making higher lows, while price is making lower lows. So you see this point and this point, right? That's a lower low. This point and this point, that's a higher low. Now, is this a confirmed higher low? No, you'd need a 4-hour closure back above this level. So no, and that's not looking too hot. Stokes kind of crossing down. You know, I do, again, I'll kind of stick with my guns here. I do think we're closer to a bounce than not. Could we swipe a little bit lower and head towards 2,900? Yeah, especially if we can't close back above 33.17 on a 4-hour. I would just expect general continuation down there before we get a bounce. And same thing here is on the weekly. And this is another reason why I think we're probably heading down to that 29.55 area, or at least we give a swipe there. We can get a bounce there. We can get a touch there. We can go all the way down to 2,600. As long as we don't close the week below 3,000 bucks, we still will be maintaining the weekly uptrend. So that's what we keep it on there. And, you know, again, Ethereum probably does whatever Bitcoin does. Do want to check in on a few altcoins here today. So that's it for Ethereum. I'll just wrap up the thoughts real quick before I move on there. So Ethereum daily back above 3,800, great. Below 2,900, I'll look for a move down to about 25, 26. And other than that, I probably guess this is right in line with a major bounce on Bitcoin, somewhere around that area. Again, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just showing you what I'm looking at, so hopefully it can be useful for you and your trading strategy. Okay, CRV on the daily, I want to take a look at. And CRV is one of the stronger actors here. We've been following it for some time with the measure move. We got all the way up to 540. And we've been looking for this one to stretch itself up to about 830. And we are going to maintain, let's see, we still have daily higher lows being put in and higher highs. So daily uptrend still intact, but we need to, how do we confirm that? We need to get a closure back above 570 on the daily and no closures below 470. Now on a weekly, let me get this fib out of here. Take those drawing tools off. Put her on log. On a weekly, this thing is still massively bullish. It just broke its last major weekly high there. And we've got a measure move on this guy pointed up here. So I'll just use a quick fib retracement. But, you know, target is going to be somewhere, around 840, as long as we do not close any weeklies below the last weekly low or daily time frame. We don't want to see any dailies below 470. That would destroy that. And then really on a 4-hour, on a 4-hour, again, we don't want to see that level lost at 469. Otherwise, I'm looking for a quick move down to 445 and probably continuation to 388 over some time. And this thing's going to do whatever Bitcoin does, but it's still the higher term time frames, right? The weekly, we're making higher highs and higher lows here. You'd expect more of the trend, just let the trend be your friend. And that's the great old saying. All right, moving on here to another one that has been fairly strong here as of recent months, and that is MATIC. And you can see why it's been strong, starting at 35 cents back in April 21, and now we're at 225. Not bad. And we did say if we got a tick below 241 the last weekly low. We get a quick move down to the 9 exponential. We got that move. We were looking for a move down to 220 with a small bounce, and we did get a bounce yesterday, and that is a classic failed bounce, which should be coming in right at the 618 fib. And anytime you see a bounce get stopped out at that 618, it's a very good sign. That is your classic bull trap area. So that was the indicator. We're going to get some continuation onto the downside today alongside, you kind of just follow what Bitcoin does, and altcoins kind of follow along with it. So what I want to say about MATIC is we don't want to see any daily closures below, definitely below 210. But I would say even if we lose this green 55, I'd be looking for a move back down to 180. Yeah, definitely looking for a bounce around 168 if Bitcoin wants to really get slacked. I think that's right in line with, 184. I wouldn't mind it coming down to the 21 and wicking down a little bit and then going back off to the races. Because ultimately, this is where we want to see this guy at least back up at 330. So pretty good risk to reward, in my opinion, on something that's macro bullish. And as long as Bitcoin remains in its macro uptrend, I think it bodes well for the altcoins. Okay, Luna. Yep, and we did say same thing for Luna. Any kind of a tick below last week's low, going to get a move down to the 9 exponential. We just don't want to get a closure below here. I'd be looking for this one on Sunday night. Any kind of a weekly closure below there is, likely to give us a move down to the blue box, and I think that might be a potential bouncy area. Again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. And otherwise, I mean, this thing's long-term bullish, on a monthly. It can get a backfill all the way down to $60 and be completely fine. So keep a close eye on that one. And then Sand, I'm going to finish it up with Mr. Sand, Mr. Sandbox himself. Bear with me just a second here. Mr. Sand, where are you? The Sandman. You remember that song? Okay. All right. Here we go, Sand. I know you're in here. Sand, all right, try it again. Sand. I think I took it off. That's what happened. There she is. Okay, Sand. So you want to be aware of on Sandbox, on the monthly, any kind of a tick below last month's low should get you a move down to about 319. That might be a major buying opportunity. Okay. How's it looking on the daily? So we got our lower low, we got our lower high, and what would I expect? Another lower low, and some kind of a reach into the blue box here. The blue box of peace and prosperity, or death and despair, right? Peace and prosperity, you get a bounce. Death and despair, fall down to about 286. Okay, so Sandbox, another one to be keeping a close eye on and a fun one to watch. With that said, I just want to thank you guys all for watching today. If you did enjoy some of the content, please do go ahead and throw me a like at the bottom of the page, and I hope you have a wonderful, blessed rest of your day. Take care.